Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and we have our first battle phase attack of the clan siege. It has triggered. We are in tier 6, so they did move people as they said, and it's obviously got all the new bonus rewards that you saw in my previous video, so we can see this is all going on here. There's an avatar for Lamasu as well. If we win, but I will be honest, I was surprised by how this system was going to work. Obviously, what we didn't know before was the attack phase. Now, you can't actually start your attack on 1 or 4. I thought you could, which basically kind of makes 1, 9, and 4 effectively kind of worthless, because like the value of taking this post is only if you have excess like attack scrolls. You won't use your rematch or anything on them. So it's kind of like these are a bit pointless, really. I would never even prioritize defenses on them, because if someone has excess, then whatever, it doesn't really matter. They're worth like 50 points. The mana shrines and the stronghold is where all the points sit, along with, I think, the magic towers. I think they're 275 as well. But only being able to start in 5, 3, and 2. And the other thing is you can't actually see the defenses beyond that point. I was under the impression you would be able to. So you can't actually look ahead. It's very, very difficult. You almost have to take this approach now as a clan leader going, okay, of my big hitters in my clan, which one is the one that's least confident about winning this one? And then basically almost like assign the person to this that is the weakest in terms of an arena competitor in your clan. Because what you do not want to do is start with like your best player, knock out 2, and then you get to 8 and you realize that is a lot harder and you could have used your best hitter. You're not going to be able to do that. So it's actually incredibly difficult to plan this. I don't actually know how we're going to do it at the moment. I'm currently trying to think of the best way. Like obviously this team is a pretty hefty team. It's got Siegfried, but I could probably beat this with my roster. It's whether or not my roster should be used to beat something a little bit more deeper into the siege. And that is going to be the challenge here. Now, obviously, you could absolutely as well ignore post 3. You could go to post 5 and go through defense tower. Honestly, probably the quickest way is to go 2, 8, 10, 15, 5, and stronghold if you want to skip that. And I know I could probably easily beat this one as well, depending on how it's structured. Because obviously auras and things don't work in here in terms of like speed auras that we would normally use. So it becomes a little bit more straightforward to beat. Obviously that guy's got a lot of Duchess. So you can kind of see, you know, who's got what here. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We're going to have to think of the attack. I will say 3 and 3 feels quite a lot of attack scrolls to make this viable. I was thinking about this on stream last night. How do you effectively build a defense that you can't control against pretty much the whole roster of champions, even when you're putting conditions? Because even if you put something like Ogrin tribes, unless you have all of the best Ogrin tribes in that faction, then there's a pretty strong possibility that someone else in that faction is going to have the Gizmak that can take you out. Now, the only difference that I didn't realize from last night is obviously nobody knows that I've put this condition at different places, right? So if I've decided at post, I don't know, post 14, I've put a condition that you can only use Lizardman. Well, the person in the faction that might have the best Lizardman, maybe, like, for example, I think on one of our defenses right now, you can see that someone used the Lizardman, double Lazarus. Maybe there's going to be something that comes up that has double Lazarus that he could have used that for that purpose. And he won't know this. So the conditions will matter. What it does mean, though, is there's much more value in trying to defend your second layer than your first layer. Very easy. You kind of want to, like, make your first layer scary. Like, this is a very good first layer defense because it's kind of scary. You know they're kind of strong and you're kind of worried about it, but you don't know what's behind it. And they haven't used any bonuses. You really want to make it a lot harder, because if we have to use one of our big hitters to take this one down, then we don't have those big hitters for the stronghold and the middle tier. You don't really want to leave all of your power in the stronghold, because if all of these are really easy to go through, then your big hitters are going to be able to see your stronghold defense really quickly. So there is a bit of strategy in trying to hide your stronghold and your things behind it by putting up some defenses on the outer ring to try and draw out the big hitters of an enemy clan. Now, matchmaking, I've heard a lot of problems about matchmaking where some big clans are getting matched with weak clans. We look to be matched with a pretty competitive clan. I don't know many of these names, but I would imagine this is a pretty competitive clan. OBV are a cluster that is pretty strong. So, you know, we've got some pretty big scores here at 40 mil, 36 mil. So we've got some pretty powerful people here. They're a, you know, 2 billion clash score, 186 CVC minimum, Hydro Clash competitive. So they're a competitive clan that we're facing right now. And for us, this is going to be hard. Now, I put up my first defense here over in Tower 2, and it has been obliterated because I did put up Nazir and Union, and I tried to be a bit clever using a fast Kimmy, but, you know, if you don't have Harima, this is a classic example of what I was saying. I don't have Harima, and I don't have Yumiko. Therefore, really, in all honesty, I shouldn't have taken this post. This is the hindsight and learnings. I shouldn't have put this bonus on because this is just I'm narrowing my pool, but I didn't narrow the enemy's pool on the outer ring, essentially. I didn't narrow it. You might almost want to keep your outer ring like completely like free so you can use whatever you want. Here, for example, again, use the same team pretty much. 6 stars, you can't really compete with that. And it's also the problem with classic defenses. It's like, well, it's very easy to beat everything on a classic offense. Live Arena is a different challenge because you can see people draft and you can counterpick the drafts a little bit, and you can also ban out what someone wants to use. So if someone wants to use their Harima, well, you could just ban out the Harima if you want to do it. You can't really do that in sort of offline classic defenses. Pretty much any champion now is capable of beating any team in the right setup with the right conditions. It's really straightforward to farm classic arena, tag team arena, in terms of like the defenses. If you have good available champions, right? If you have teams like this, 6-star Amans, 6-star Sify, you're not going to struggle against the majority of defenses unless you come up against a 6-star Sify and a 6-star Amans. So that's the only thing that I'm finding difficult with this game mode right now. We have had some wins. Congratulations to Risen in my clan. Bit of a shout out for beating the first one here. But you can see then he's just like, okay, well, I'll just bring some more speed probably, and I'll just bring Ultimate Death Knight because you picked Rotus. So how, you know, without this was literally just you picked Ultimate Death Knight. I mean, I don't actually know how he managed to beat this one. I guess he got lucky or something. But yeah, that's the problem as well. Like, known counters are going to make very, very bad defenses, I guess. So we have to see how it goes. There seems to be a pretty good networking going on so far. There's a little bit of a delay. They've obviously launched some initial attacks against us. When you're being attacked, it shows like flames, which is kind of cool. We haven't attacked anyone yet. That's what I need to figure out. But as I said, I do think that 3 and 3 is a lot. That means there's 180 attacks that you have to defend against 60 posts. So it means that someone can actually try 3 times and lose. Now, the only difference is you can't use your attack scrolls on more than 3 places. So that's helpful. So you can see here, for example, this clan Trottinecta really couldn't beat it. So he's already used 1 and 2 there, and I'm pretty sure there. So that player now can't attack anymore. He can only use his rematch abilities, and I think they can only be used on the Mana Shrine. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. There's so much to learn in this game mode. Honestly, if you're a clan that doesn't have any coordination, you're a casual clan, I applaud your efforts even trying to engage with this game mode, because it's very difficult to coordinate and plan and organize this with the limited systems we have in the game. Where's the rematch scrolls here? Yes, so once you attack, here we go, let's verify this. If I choose to enter the attack of this here, if I battle this, then that will consume my attack scroll. If I fail, I can only use rematch scrolls. So in essence, the rematch is not too much of a problem necessarily, but it does mean that if every clan member has 3 attacks, there's 30 clan members, that means there's 90 attacks. So every clan member can basically take... You don't need every clan member to take every single post, is the point. You can afford 30... Basically, you can afford the situation like this, where this clan member couldn't beat it, so he loses one of his attacks, and the other player takes over. You can do that 30 times before you will struggle to capture the whole thing. And remember, you only need to capture the stronghold and the mana shrines. I think if you capture the stronghold, the mana shrines, you will probably win Siege. You will probably win it, unless the enemy person captures your mana shrines and stronghold and everything, because all of the points sit pretty much in this top layer. If you take the mana shrines, the magic towers, and the strongholds, that will probably be like 80% of the points, because one mana shrine is worth 10 posts. So taking individual posts is not really worth it. You really don't want to be spending an extra token on a post, but you can do it because you can lose up to 30. So right now they've got basically 29 posts that they can attempt. I think it's 28 actually, because I think they tried to take on this one here. See, 6 of Hands has lost one as well. So they're on 28. So that's how we can assess the situation. It's kind of like going, okay, well, there's 28 failures on a team, but that player can absolutely attempt to retake it, but his rematch scrolls have been wasted now. He can't use them here. and he can't use them. So essentially for that player, siege is over. It is over for him. So, I mean, there's a lot of information to digest. You know, I've been talking here for about 10 minutes on this so far. We haven't attacked anyone, and I don't really think I've learned anything too much other than I think it's going to be very hard to defend your tower. But I have seen some pretty rough matchmaking where someone who's like a level 20 clan has been matched against a level 15. And your biggest problem you're going to have is if nobody in your clan can beat 5, 3, or 2, you're stuck. You might have clan members behind them that you can beat. Doesn't matter. If you can't beat 2, 3, or 5, you cannot proceed, which means that actually this is not a given. At least with clan versus clan, you always get that 5.4 million clan milestones, right? You'll always get these rewards so long as you can progress. But actually, there is a hard cap. If you cannot proceed beyond 2, 3, and 5, you don't get anything. The siege is basically pointless for you. Pointless for you. You will get some points if you can hold 2, 3, and 5, but if you can't beat 2, 3, and 5, you're probably not going to hold the opponent. The opponent is going to rip through your defenses probably. So they're going to get all these points and be able to get all these points. Like, you need 7,000 points here. So in terms of what that means, well, you need to kind of destroy the enemy stronghold, I think. Like, we look at how many points you get here. And so you will lose victory points by losing, which I feel like is just harsh. Absolutely harsh. That's really, really crazy. So, for example, here, if we look in defense, the clan lost 6 victory points because I lost it here. We gained 6 victory points. We didn't even gain victory points here. We got nothing. And we lost 6 here because we kind of gained 6 for the defense and then lost 6 from the loss. This tower over here has generated nothing. So we're just at a deficit of points right now because we haven't attacked. So if you lose all your points here, if you think about the way that it would go, say like you had a clean, say like let's assume that you are able to hold 30. So they win 90, they win 60 of their battles. Let's just assume they win 60 of their battles. Well, that's going to give them, that's going to give you a loss of 360 points and you're going to win like 180. So you're going to be down 360 points before you get started here, right? You can't go more than negative. So that's a bit of a factor to take in. Now, in terms of how many points you can actually earn, because that's really important to understand, how many points can you actually earn? You get 40 points if you win. I mean, really? 40 points? That's pretty rubbish. That's kind of rubbish there. I think you get some points then. Obviously, a lot of points are going to be based on attacks. Let's have a look. We can go down here. So, rewards for undestroyed buildings. If you hold your defenses, that's why I said the Mana Shrine and the Stronghold is really important. If you can hold that, that's like about 2,000 of your 7,000 points. You still need 5,000 points. So, you're going to have to attack. So, every time you take a post, there's 50. So, if we destroy every single post, there is 18 posts, we can get 900 points. So, right now, if we hold our stronghold, we hold 2 Mana Shrines, we take the enemy's stronghold, and we take the enemy Mana Shrines, and we also take 10 of those posts. That's only going to leave us with 5,000. This is going to be very hard to achieve. Because if you don't hold your stronghold, I don't think you get 7,000. I think these points are going to be very difficult for you to achieve, because there's just not that many points on the map. If you destroy every building of the opposition, then you will get yourself 2050 plus 500 plus 500. I think you get 275, 275, 275, and 275, which is the magic towers. 150 times 5, which will give you a bit more. And then there's 18 posts at 50, so it's about 900 points. If you destroy the entire enemy's map, it's only 5,000 points. You got to find 2,000, so you have to hold some defenses. So if they destroy all of yours and you destroy all of yours, then you're not going to hit, nobody hits 7,000. They've actually engineered a system that it's actually impossible to hit 7,000 without actually directly holding key points. Now, if you hold your stronghold, that'll get you to 6,250. You're going to have to hold one of your Mana Shrines as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to do a follow-up video after the siege has ended with what I've learned, the different things, some feedback, kind of like my opinion on how the attack and the defense worked. Right now, I'm a bit concerned that it's too easy to clear a defense, that it is also not easy to get some rewards, because let's face it, if nobody wins a stronghold, if both strongholds live, nobody wins this victory chest, because you have to defeat the stronghold to win. So if you can't defeat the stronghold, you cannot win. Which is, it could just be in a situation where all of this arrangement and all this planning happens, and everyone walks away with like 6 pieces of gear, and that's it for the best possible rewards. And I think that could be a bit of a problem. We might have to rebalance these points a little bit. But to be fair to player, they've shown they're willing to listen and manage the system. As more players play, they get better data, and it gives them an idea of how well the system's going to work. There's only so much you can test internally when it comes to this kind of large-scale competitive scene with all the different types of clans. Like, how does it affect a tier 3 differently to me? I'm looking at it purely from a tier 6 perspective. It might be a completely different experience for a tier 3. I'll have to see. I'm probably going to link up with some of the team at HH Gaming that are in a lower tier clan to see how their sieging is going. But I would also imagine that people in tier 3 are probably not engaging with this system because it is too complex to plan. Or they are doing it and then they're putting random defenses in and they're not going to get good scores. But yeah, that's my musings. It's a bit of a ramble video, but I just wanted to do a video now that I've seen some of this thing. Kind of some of the learnings and some of the strategies. Definitely one thing I'm learning right now, the middle tier is more valuable than the outer tier and the inner tier, because if you can hide and slow down the enemies as they get through, then you might keep, you know, all the big hitters away from your stronghold. Only having a big priority in 2, 3, and 5 is very important. Scaring up front is massively important. If you can put your best defenses on 2, 3, and 5, that's going to force the enemy to use their best defenses early. That's probably the best way to do it. And we'll have to see how it goes. So far, we've lost 4 points. We've held 2 defenses right now, which is great. You know, we can see, congrats to CT and Risen. They've held it. I have failed as my responsibilities, my leadership, and my clan to hold our first outer layer. So I will fall on my sword if we lose our stronghold, I guess. Hopefully, there won't be any sort of tyranny or dictatorship called for the lack of defenses. We'll have to see how it goes. But there we go, guys. That is Siege. Let me know in the comments below, how is the matchmaking for you? I'm hearing a lot of reports from people that matchmaking has been really rough for them, that they're getting really nasty matchups. They're getting picked with big kick, like sort of Kraken clans. And kind of like, how do you feel about this attack phase? Do you think it is working well for you? What kind of suggestions do you have around improving this? Because I do want to make sure that we get a good feedback loop, because I do think there's a lot of merit in this game mode. With the right tweaks and adjustments and a lot of different things, this could be a fun game mode. It's just not quite there yet for me, but I really want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.